Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Why is it that many people will walk into a room with all the credentials, the image, and everything that they need to make connections and end up feeling disappointed or failing? Today, we're going to be talking about communication, and this is Iconic Women. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, and my guest is an expert when it comes to communication. She also has her own platform, which we're going to hear more about. Let's welcome Dr. Miluna Fausch to the program. Hello, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So nice to see you. It's been a minute. It's been what, 4 or 5 years maybe?
At least. I'm not even sure.
Well, we keep going. I'm so glad that you're here. So I want to talk a little bit about this because so many people are in the public domain. And so we're talking to them, but we're not limiting to that. We want to talk about voice and presence. And people are creating content just by showing up and having a conversation, yet the message is not being received because maybe it's not being delivered in a clear way. Tell us a little bit about your background in this area.
I come from being an actor on stage, TV, camera. All of this has been my study. And I've been in love with the voice since I was a little girl. I would listen to America's Top 40. Some of our audience may be in the same demographic. It was Casey Kasem, who had this amazing, deep voice for radio. I'm always paying attention to how people are communicating, how it's received. Some things cause us to react, or we choose to react. And some conversations are clear and courageous, and we respond well. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm one of those people who needs to experience things and try it out and be the guinea pig, as we used to say, to understand business and the language of businesses. And I'm here to help people communicate clearly so the message is heard, as you mentioned.
Doctor, thank you for that. So people watching, we just did a show on judgment, by the way. People watching may have judgments and say, I don't know what these two are talking about. I communicate very effectively. What's an indication that maybe there's room for opportunity?
It's true. And it's a self-awareness activity. And not everyone practices that. Sometimes I'll hear, I was in a networking meeting a couple of weeks ago, and there was a man, I don't remember his industry at the moment. I believe he buys companies or brokers companies. And he said, I think I'm clear. And my wife says I come across as harsh. So these are some of the indicators that maybe you're not tapping into the heart space and you think it's okay to just say something without a filter or asking a question or going deeper. This is one of the indicators. Perhaps people always ask you to speak up. I can't hear you. Well, then the volume is not there. The voice projection is not there. I would also say if you're not being promoted or receiving opportunities, it could be the way you're speaking and the way you make presentations and pitches there could be something very much lacking there that could be trained and developed.
Excellent points. Thank you. Doctor, a question I have, I'm 63 now. When I was growing up, I would hear use big words, lots of long sentences, because that will make you look intelligent. And then as I was in my corporate career and I was working for people who were younger, just get to the point, put it into the number of characters in a Twitter feed. That's what I was told. So is there anywhere in between when we would know, okay, this is the correct amount of words to use, or is it just something that we get trained by ear?
Wow, what a great question. I've never been asked that, doctor.
Yay.
As a child, I was told to be seen and not heard, be quiet. Maybe that's why I'm in the voice business. I think anytime that we're attempting to use big words or industry lingo, we want to be very mindful and be purposeful about that. If I'm just using words to think I'm impressing people, I believe that's an error, because I don't think my message will be delivered. On the other hand, or at the same time, if I'm, let's say, in the surfing industry, or I was in Silicon Valley for years, there is a language that is used. Now, again, I don't want to put us into a place where we're using a specific lingo to be included. However, at the same time, we need to know the language and what people mean. So I would say use words that mean something to you. Use your dictionary. Is that what I really mean? Is there a better word or a more confident word that would express what I'm trying to say? Ultimately, be true to yourself. Record yourself, what feels right and sounds right to you.
That makes a lot of sense. What would you say stands out for you from your training as a professional actor that helps you in this area?
It's the ability to stay present. There's so much around acting that's not understood, but when we watch a great actor on stage or on a film that touches our hearts, really it's actually this simple in some respects. When you're an actor and you're playing a part, you're in the moment. I'm playing that character. I'm using their words. I've developed a backstory. I've developed, how would this character show up? How would they use their hands? Are they strong in eye contact? Are they heart-based and emotional? And it's learning to be present on whatever stage we're on, whether it's you and I here on TV, on the stage, making a pitch or presentation. If you'll stay in the present, you'll be able to connect with others. And that's really the only way to get your heart out there and connect with your audience.
And I love the fact that we are moving into connecting with audience. We had a show yesterday about a gentleman who actually was in a very bad accident and lost a limb. And he had to actually learn how to express himself, use his voice, because he was going through a lot of anger. And I know that you have been through a lot yourself. You have an extensive career in sales, and then you had something happen to you health-wise. And I just wondered, I don't know if you want to speak about it, but when we go through things in life, sometimes our voice is suppressed because we have so many emotions. How do we find it again?
Oh, yes. I myself had a tumor in my head. This is going back a few years, and wow, nothing like this kind of wake-up call. My face became paralyzed. I had a swelling here, and we found out it was a benign bone tumor. I was in big trouble. My eye was drooping, my mouth was drooping, I couldn't eat. And here I am, an actor living in Los Angeles at that time, and my face is paralyzed. Houston, we've got a problem. One of the things I did is I became an advocate for myself. I realized that when you're in the hospital, if you can't speak up for yourself, you're in big trouble. I watched another woman who had a similar kind of surgery to mine, who could not use her voice and was not willing to speak up or not able to speak up, because you're going to be given drugs and doctors may or may not see you. I felt like some of the doctors were looking over and through me as if I were a symptom. And I'm thinking, I'm just glad to be alive after a 10-hour surgery, which was my first surgery. I think we've got to know that our voice matters. And if we've been through a wake-up call where we almost passed away, oh my gosh, does your voice matter? Journaling helps, recording yourself, poetry, writing things. I wrote a book, and chapter 1 is communicating with compassion. It's about that whole medical journey that I had. We've got to learn to use our voice and speak up. It'll get easier by doing that.
Thank you for being brave and sharing part of your story. I really do appreciate it. And for those who are not aware, we have no script. So the doctor has no idea what I'm going to ask, and neither do I. And I don't know what she's going to say. So it's very authentic. So I love that we were just talking about the medical community, because that is a place where people feel like their voice is not heard and someone else has to advocate for them. And outside of that, in life, if we do not know how to present ourselves or how to communicate, others can step in. We've seen situations, I'm sure, where a spouse or partner starts talking for the other person. She'll order this, she'll have that, she's going to do this, he's going to do that. And what happens to someone, doctor, when we don't find our voice is typically we feel like we're almost invisible and shrinking. Have you ever had that feeling?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I still do some days. This is my journey as well. It's unhealthy. I think we minimize what that really means when we feel like we're losing our voice. I believe the voice is the original instrument, also percussion and drums and flutes. But what happens when a baby is born, wah, 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 crying, ideally, and using those lungs and using that voice? The other thing is when I whisper, or when you whisper, when we whisper, it's very taxing on the vocal cords or the vocal folds. What does that say to us? We're designed to be full on. And it doesn't necessarily mean I have a loud voice, although I can, but I have an ability to project and place it correctly and take deep breaths. A voice is a very healthy expression. I know I had some health problems of my own. Probably that tumor was also related to childhood abuse and being told to be silent and not having a voice, especially for women. If someone else is speaking for you, why is that? What is the benefit that you're buying into? Because I'm going to tell you that's something incorrect. A true relationship, whether it's a partner, a husband, a friend, would not silence you. They would want to hear your opinion as well.
I agree with you. Thank you. Now, what about the opposite perspective? When feedback is given, you really talk too much. I feel like you always have something to say. How do we have self-awareness that maybe we need to take a pause and be listening more?
It's true. Some of us are more natural expressors, I might say, or more extrovert. Although I'm right in the middle, believe it or not. When we interrupt people, this is a common thing, with the intention of speaking, then, as you know, because this is one of your areas of expertise, Dr. Jacalyn, is to listen. We know we're not really listening if we're just pausing so that we can interrupt or we can make our opinion known. Also, part of the communication success, the factor I include, is 2 ears. as well as the vocal box and all of this. If we're not listening, we can't possibly be a great communicator. It's also part of learning to be in the moment. If I can really listen to you, then I know what questions to ask. And then I can seek to understand because I don't yet know. I may not know you well enough. When we're starting conversations with people we've just met, how do we know? And if we will transcend judgment and any sort of opinion, then we can get to a real conversation. And that's where the magic is. So I would encourage someone who's being called on the carpet, that's an old term, for interrupting or speaking too much. Why is that? I would ask yourself the question, why am I compelled to speak and not include others in the conversation? That's where I'd start with that.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The dynamics of communication and interaction between people. And you have your own television show on Zondra TV and your own platform. How do you use your voice there?
It's my pleasure to interview people. I have a feeling you love this, and this is a superpower for you as well. I have a skill of asking deep questions, researching, and having a platform where people open and tell their story. Studies show that we remember stories way more than facts and figures and numbers, although that has its place as well. But a story we'll never forget. Think of a song that means something, a movie, a TV show that we love. It's story. It's character, it's conflict, it's human relationships. So I've found that my platform is TV and being on camera because this is my third television show. And I realized my first was in Silicon Valley, and then COVID shut that down. I filmed exactly 4 episodes. So Spirit said to me a few months ago, do you think maybe TV is your vehicle? Because now it's Miluna TV.
Congratulations. I love it. You hit the nail on the head. It's a gift to be able to be here. And it's not something that everyone can do because it's not just putting on some makeup, putting on some clothes and showing up. There's a lot that goes into it. And our voice is very important. So I want to talk about the vocal cords. And I want to talk about the fact that sometimes voice lessons can be beneficial, or learning how to actually save your voice or how to use your voice. What can you share about this topic?
It's so important to not overlook or take this for granted. Some people can't speak. Yes. So there are muscles in here. You can develop your voice. You can learn to use it well. Hydration is huge. I drink a ton of water, room temperature water. I have a product called Vocal Mist, which my ENT recommended. That's something you can find online, where it's a saline solution. Now, I'm not being paid to endorse that, but I like it a lot. So there you go. It's important to, as we mentioned earlier, whispering is taxing. Of course, yelling and not breathing and speaking too loudly for an extended period of time. None of these things are terribly healthy. There is a rhythm to the voice. For me, it's a living, breathing 3D instrument, probably more than 3 dimensions, because we have heart in there. We have our words in there. We have our brain and our intelligence, our intention. And we have both the responsibility and the joy to communicate well, in my opinion. So sleep is wonderful. Warming up the voice is wonderful. Cooling down is wonderful. When I used to be a professional singer, there was a whole routine of warm up and then cool down after. It's important to drink water before and after, all of these things. And yes, warming up and singing in the shower with all of that hydration, especially if you have a water filter, is a wonderful thing.
Ah, that's my favorite. So we're talking about using the voice, and to your point, some people are excellent speakers and other people might not have a television show or a podcast as a venue to express themselves. You've written a book, a Forbes book called Uplevel Your Communication, and people can actually communicate through the written word. What would you like people to take away from the book that you've written, and what's it about?
It is about purposeful, intentional speaking. There are case studies, there are stories. I tend to have a bit of a sarcastic, irreverent view. So it's sassy. Let me just say it's sassy. These are real life examples from being out in the world, which I am out most every day. I'm studying. How did that communication work? How did I feel? Is this a place of business that I want to come back to? Our voice speaks volumes about ourselves, whether we know it or not. It talks about, are you a confident communicator? How to introduce people, how to set up your backdrop, because a lot of us are virtual TV producers and we're leading meetings virtually. I do my coaching mostly virtually. It talks about communication and courage and compassion and all of the ways that we could do better. It talks about specific language. One of my least favorite word is guys, G-U-Y-S. A lot of people just come to a meeting or at any time they introduce themselves, hey guys. Well, I have a whole paragraph of why I don't believe that word works. If we look at it, G-U-Y means in the British English, a poorly dressed man. So that doesn't include much of us. I'm not a man. You're not a man. There are people who identify otherwise. So think of it as a primer. There are exercises at the end of each chapter to dive deep into how you're communicating and how you can build a better platform. And yes, as you said, some people will be more on purpose and more on their life's mission by writing. Perhaps it's your book, blog, or communications at work that are more of the written voice.
Excellent point. And we are sharing the links for your book on Amazon as well as Barnes and Noble. So I want to talk a little bit, because we are both in the television industry, about reality TV. And so I watch a lot of reality TV because I like to see human behavior. And what I found that is really getting to the point where I can't unnotice it is the word sus, S-U-S. I hear this all the time. It's sus. I had to look it up what that meant. And a lot of screaming and yelling. And so it's almost like drama is what sells and brings ratings. And at the same time, these people are being very well paid in most cases. What is the lesson we're supposed to take away? And this is hypothetical because we can't know. But if we're watching reality TV and we're seeing that interaction is screaming and yelling at people and you're getting paid very well, it sort of trickles down through society. That's my thought.
I agree with you, Dr. Jacalyn. I think it's problematic. I love that you're asking what should we learn, because to me, it celebrates the worst of humanity. There's some bad behavior. They're purposefully being asked to behave badly. Why is that a good thing? It's not for me. I guess that if we'll learn for me, we need to grow up our language and behavior. There are consequences if I yell at other people. I know one time I had a client who thought it was fashionable or effective to yell at his employees. Well, people were afraid of him. Of course, they didn't want to do what he said. He wasn't a true leader. Yelling is a form of abuse. And people would not tell him because they didn't want to be yelled at. So he didn't receive proper feedback. And I often wonder why companies keep people like that. That's a whole nother topic we won't go into. I think the lesson is, why do we honor poor behavior? And why do we celebrate acting badly and pay people well for that? I think it's problematic and I watch some reality television as well to observe, as you are. My PhD is psychology. I want to say, how can we grow up, be more conscious, and understand how our behavior, voice, actions are affecting others? Everyone's being affected, including our own spirit.
I completely agree with you. I know sometimes I actually have to turn the program off because I just feel ill. I feel very heavy and weighted down. And I am also someone who likes the whole gaming. So I like to watch Survivor and shows like that, because you get to see the actual dynamics between people, whether it's staged or not, we don't actually know. But if we think about reality in life and how we communicate with one another, I feel that what we see in social media and on television and in the media absolutely has to have some kind of impact on us. So what I'd like to focus the rest of the show, if it's okay with you, is what are some good ways to communicate? And when I say good, effective ways, so that we know our message is getting conveyed. And I'll stop there. Let's start with that.
I love it. I think ultimately you want to use your own words. I know even in my case, I was a guest on a TV show years ago, and I allowed my coach to write the words in the script. It was a disaster, actually. I did not do well. I was nervous. Not my best move. And that's out there. Hopefully not too much. Let's put it that way. One of the best things is to record yourself and start with audio, so that you're not judging also the way you look, because we're visual creatures. Also, take the time to prepare. One of the things a lot of the executives I work with, they're very resistant to preparing the pitch, learning how to lead a meeting, preparing the presentation. And that's not stacking the deck in our favor. I prepare for everything. Now, you and I are here and we're very experienced, which is why it's working. Not because I wing it or you wing it, but because this is what we do. It's our craft. It's what we've done for years. Let me just back up. There's a reason in theater we rehearse for 8 to 12 weeks beforehand. There's a reason. It has to work. Lights, cameras, well, on TV, but stage, we're sometimes filming as well. The choreography on the stage, the props, the set, this is all studied and worked on and rehearsed for weeks before the beauty of the live show is actually there. If you're not taking time to practice and prepare, you're not really understanding the opportunity in front of you. You're not understanding the impact you can have when you communicate at a purposeful, clear, courageous level as a leader. So take a look at that and understand, why am I not working on the voice? I also would say one more thing: have fun. Sometimes I assign poetry, Dr. Seuss, yes, for folks who don't have dynamics or a good range in the way they speak. It's more of a flat line or down in the throat, which has no carrying power whatsoever.
Wonderful tips that you're sharing. Thank you. I want to get into presence. For viewers out there who don't understand, what is presence and how can we be aware of our own?
Perhaps we can call presence the it factor, charisma. It's those people we want to be close to, because there's just something about them. And we can think of our favorite singers and actors, and some athletes have it, some professional athletes, some politicians, very few actually, they think they have it. That's a whole nother show, isn't it? Poetry, poets, or spoken word artists, or rappers. All of these folks, we watch their TV shows and listen to their music because it speaks to us. It's the ability, the confidence to know yourself, to stay in the moment. Marianne Williamson says we have love and miracles in the present only. Over here is the fear we go into. So if I can take the time, for me, meditation and work like that, and I can calm myself, even though we have strong, strong energy at the same time, to be in the moment with you and listen to you and respond, that's presence. And that is the greatest gift we can ever give anyone, is to be present right here and right now.
And I also feel that when our presence is recognized and that we are seen, that can have a whole life-changing impact on us. Because many times, at least with the people that I've interviewed, I know this is what we do. We interview people, we write books, we research, and there are plenty of people out there who do not feel seen, and they will share, in some instances, they've used their voice. But yet in a home situation, for example, you find that there are dynamics. If you have a partner and you've been together for a long time, there are typically dynamics. One partner plays this role and another partner plays a different role. And when the one party wants to actually change those dynamics, the other party isn't always receptive, because now they don't know what to do with the change in behavior. What comments do you have on that?
It's a deep subject, isn't it? Because the relationships that last for us are when we both grow, or we all grow. That's my opinion. A lot of times couples split up because one person's going this way now and one person isn't. I've been married for so many years, I can't even tell you. I'd have to pull out the calculator, to the same man. And we are very different. He's an engineer, he's more introverted, he's more private. And people say opposites attract, yes and no, and it's a great relationship. Yes and no. Opposites can also be tricky for folks, because if someone is not willing to communicate, then how can we really get somewhere? I think when we're about to change and we want to change our dynamics in the way we communicate, probably in most cases, we want to let the other person know. Now, I'm not speaking about an abusive relationship or something like that where you're not going to let the other person know. That's something else entirely, especially for women. But I think a heart-to-heart meeting, because if we will take the risk, R-I-S-K, to communicate clearly and from the heart, and say how we're feeling, then we can get somewhere. And then we can learn what the other person is feeling. And I know I'm very strong, but I'm also very sensitive. And a lot of times I'm hurt. My feelings are hurt. Sometimes I speak up if I think it's safe, and sometimes not. But the best relationships I have are where I speak up and say, I'm feeling hurt. And then we have an honest conversation about that, and where I open the door for them to say how they're feeling and if they've been hurt or not. Because an honest apology, that's another thing as well, when we truly need to apologize to someone else.
Your point is very well taken. It's really a negotiation where both people walk away feeling like they have something of value. And if one person doesn't feel heard or appreciated or respected, then that will have a ripple effect.
It certainly will. It's unfinished business, isn't it? It's not going to feel right.
And it'll just keep manifesting in some way or another. Doctor, we are out of time, but I do want you to share about your TV show, and we've got the site to share with people. How do people apply if they are able to be a guest on your show on Zandra TV?
The website I provided is my media kit. So that's where everything is. That's my story and why I do this work. It's where you get to know me. You can reach out. There's a contact form. You can go watch Miluna TV. This links to my other websites. So all the information that a person might need, also about training. Some folks can be on the television show right away, and some folks are going to need on-camera training and work before being effective and delivering a message that can be heard. So MilunaFauschMedia.com is the place to begin.
And for those who will be listening to this later on a podcast platform, it is Miluna, it's MilunaFauschMedia.com. It has been an absolute pleasure to see you, and congratulations on all your continued success. And I would love for you to leave the audience with a final word of hope.
Just know that in the world, on this planet, I believe our population is 8.2 billion and growing. No matter how many people are on this planet, your voice has the ability to make a difference for yourself and everyone that you touch.
Thank you very much. I couldn't think of a better way to bring this to a close today. Thank you, Doctor, and I look forward to seeing you again on another show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. If you happen to be watching on one of our YouTube channels, I was just sharing yesterday, I attended an invitation-only training for YouTube, and I was the only one in the room with a YouTube Silver Creator Award, which is a real blessing. So please do consider joining us on YouTube by subscribing to our channels, USA Global TV and Radio, where we have earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers, and Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, which I started not that long ago. So what I want to leave you with today is this. I have found in my career, I've done it myself many times, that we give away our value. We have something to offer and someone's interested, and the first thing we do is we drop our price, or we start throwing things in. Hey, you want one of these? I'll give you 3. You want one session? I'll give you 10. You wanted to pay X? Well, I'll offer it for this. So I want you to think about the fact that you have value and what you have to offer has value. So I've written a book, my latest one. It just came out yesterday, and it is on Amazon. You'll find it in bookstores probably next week. It's called Stop Giving Away Your Value. Let's take a look, and I'll be right back.
Hey, you. Psst. Yes, you. Watching this right now. Are you creating?
I'm producing the show, and I hit the wrong one. So here we go. Stop giving away your value.
How much of your value have you been giving away? Saying yes when the answer should have been no, lowering your price to secure the opportunity, giving more while receiving less. Over time, it adds up. Until one moment brings clarity, you've been giving away your value. This is not about working harder. This is not about doing more. It's about boundaries. It's about pricing. It's about respect. From Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK comes a direct and necessary message. Stop over-delivering. Stop underpricing your expertise. Stop negotiating against yourself. Because when you recognize your value, everything changes. Stop giving away your value. Boundaries, pricing, and the business of respect. Available now wherever fine books are sold and on Amazon. A film by USA Global TV and Radio. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Videographer and cinematic production Paul Garcia. Voiceover by Ed Vargas. Stop giving it away. Start owning it.
Almost 3 years ago, my mother passed away, and I was her full-time caregiver. She had dementia, and I watched her lose her voice at almost the same time I lost her lose her mind, and it was very traumatic. And as a result of what I was going through as a caregiver, I reached out to someone who had more information than I had. Her name is Tracy Cram Perkins, and she's written a book, Dementia Home Care Before, During, and After. She's also the TV show host of Dementia Home Care Before, During, and After. So I asked you to consider purchasing a copy of her book because it really is a godsend for anyone who is dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's disease. Let's take a look, and we'll be back with our next show. Thank you again. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.